What actions can retail investors take to enact change?
Well, did I mention that investors should submit comments? Because I think that's kind of a big one. I think that's number one on my list. That is absolutely huge. If the SEC starts hearing a lot from retail, that will have an effect on the SEC, and that will get noticed also in Congress and in the industry. And the industry might be a little more respectful and might not, propose such crazy things that or be quite so greedy. So that's number one. That comment process is an open door, and we retail advocates, we should be just walking through it.
Retail certainly has a diverse array of opinions on both the SEC and the current SEC chair. Do you have any opinions on Gary Gensler, current SEC chair?
I do have opinions about Gary Gensler, and I really like him. I like what he did at the Commodity Futures Trading Commission. He worked incredibly hard and fought industry in implementing lots of the Dodd-Frank reforms. So that makes me like him. I like that he is not a lawyer. I like lawyers, but as a chairman of the SEC, I also like to see the occasional non-lawyer come through, because lawyers tend to be more status quo, slow progress type people than business people. Now, he's not reckless by any stretch of the imagination, but I think he's more progressive in terms of being open to thinking about changing fundamental parts of the way the markets work. Just the fact that he was comfortable saying 90 to 95% of trading is taking place off lit markets. He is the guy who's willing to say the emperor has no clothes, and that's not something that happened just yesterday. I mean, that's something that Jay Clayton could have commented on, but didn't. That's something that there's a lot of people, at the SEC, lots of other commissioners or staff people who've known that, and we haven't heard it from them. But he told us that. So I don't want to beat him up for telling us that. I want to say thank you for telling us that. Thank you for being willing to say that. And what can we do to help to reform this system that you, Gary Gensler, and we retail recognize is badly in need of reform?
Having experience in the position of SEC branch chief, what issues do you see Gary Gensler facing while trying to implement retail-friendly laws? And is there anything retail investors can do to help facilitate these changes?
Well, one of the problems that Gary Gensler is up against is the industry. I think that's the obvious one. The status quo. People people in the industry have curated these regulations. They've learned how to accommodate their businesses to these regulations and how to make money. I think the part that that most people don't think about what he's up against is the SEC staff. The SEC is a big juggernaut with a whole lot of people, and many of those people have spent an entire career there, and they are experts in certain areas. So let's say I'm the person who is in the Division of Market Regulation, and I am the expert on dark pools. Everybody comes to me, and I know everything inside and out. I know all the players. I know exactly how it works. And Gary Gensler says, you know what, we're going to eliminate dark pools. How am I going to react to that? I'm probably going to be pretty bent out of shape, because my entire career, everything that I've done will become fairly obsolete, in a heartbeat. So it's not as extreme as that. That's just a really big example that I can come up with, but there's a little bit of that that affects, I think, a lot of the staff, and particularly the more senior staff, people who've been there for many, many years and have made their name and really know how the process works. And then somebody says, nope, I'm going to change it. It's going to work a different way. And, people don't like that. Now, there are some people, I'm sure, in the SEC who are delighted and who think this is great and who think he's doing exactly the right thing. But I seem to, recall that people at the CFTC were none too pleased. He's when he was the chairman there. I will say he's a hard charging guy. And so that might not be too fun, to have somebody come in and be super smart. Let's say, he gets, people are talking about crypto cases with him. Well, this is a guy who knows crypto. He knows blockchain. He taught it at MIT, right? I mean, he's on top of it. That'd be pretty scary, don't you think? As a staff person, like saying, okay, I'm going to explain to you now, Mr. Chairman, what's going on in this case. And, it'd be kind of terrifying to think, what question is he going to ask that I just don't know the answer to? Oh my God. So that may be some of it too. But that's something I think we don't think about. I really do support what he's doing. He came in, he's got his regulatory agenda. He wants to, and has articulated that he wants to make a lot of changes. And that's a big deal. He's just not there, kind of hoping to keep the lights on and the doors open. He wants to make things better, and he's pointing to things that are obvious problems that everyone knows are problems, but that we haven't been talking about in the past.
Yeah, that makes sense. So do you think like commenting on his proposals and things like that would help him out?
Yes, we need to let him feel the love. We need to let him know. I mean, we don't have to say that we love him, but think about, he goes into a meeting and a commission meeting, or he wants to do something. He wants to reform, and the other commissioners maybe don't. Don't you think that pointing to, but there were 2,000 comments that came in from retail in support of this? I think that helps him. I think we want to be like the wind in his sails. We want to be speaking up. Give him that ammunition. And the other way that helps is that when he can say, and when Congress knows, this is a guy who gets hauled up in front of Congress, pretty often, just like the Federal Reserve Chair and various others. But so when he gets hauled in there and they're questioning him and say, why are you changing things, Chairman Gensler? What are you doing here? My constituents like it the way it is. Let's let him say, hey, retail investors want this. This is not just me, Gary Gensler, saying, oh, I think this is a groovy idea. No, this is what retail wants. And then you put, these Congress people in a pickle, because they have to say, well, who really cares what the people want? I want to do what my big contributor wants. So we can help him. And I'm excited about that.